Oh, welcome everybody to Theocracy. I am your intrepid host, Theo Snodgrass, wherever you may be. Thank you for making me a part of your day. Man, okay, so I almost wasn't gonna go live today. We're a little bit a little bit slow on the draw today, but I have big stuff to talk about because apparently the Minneapolis ICE protests are continuing to be retarded. And now Don Lemon is in trouble, which is very exciting. We love that here. Don Lemon, not a friend of the channel. Oh man. So we're gonna get into that. I have a bunch more protest videos to react to. Basically, people at the protest and people talking about the protest on TikTok are just completely unhinged. They're deeply unsettled. I don't know what's going on, but we're gonna dive into that. And then there was a Manosphere meetup, so we'll get to that if we have time. But that was very homoerotic. I found it actually. There was a couple of moments that I want to highlight because people are already like dicing it up or whatever, and people don't know what to make of that. I have a little more experience with that side of the internet, so I don't know. I had a moment. There was a couple of moments there that I wanted to highlight, but so we'll get to that if we have time. I mostly want to do the Don Lemon stuff at the start because that's what a lot of people are talking about right now. So that's where we're going to start the show. First, let's check in with the chat because Sherry's here. What's up, girl? Hey, I ain't seen you in a minute. But welcome to the new show. This is my new show. So please come in and hang out. By the way, let me know what you guys think. If you see the latest episode of Touch the Grass, I did a one-on-one with Asia Branch, who is an America First podcaster. Let me know what you guys thought about that. I think I want to do more one-on-one sit-downs with controversial weirdos from the internet. I think that's kind of what I want Touch Grass to be, more than a panel show. For those of you that watch Touch Grass, feel free to weigh in on that. That's what I want to do with it, rather than just a panel, because it's like a lot of people do panel shows. It's just very few people are one-on-one interviewing controversial weirdos, week in and week out. So I love that. I thought she was great. Let me know what you guys think. I know like the chat was kind of split on her. I thought she was pretty cool. I thought she was really nice. Very interesting perspective. I don't get the Israel thing. I'll be honest with you guys. I know some of you are like big into that. I don't really get that issue, but I don't understand why people get so worked up about it. But I'm going to keep inviting people on. Maybe somebody will convince me. It's just hard for me to get like super amped up about Israel. I'm just not that into it. I know I have friends who are, so I'm trying to understand it. I'm trying to hear them out, but it just seems like, I don't know. There's just other shit that I care about more. It's hard for me to make that like my number one thing. And they're like, it's the most important thing. It's the only issue that matters. And I'm like, I have a hard time with that. I don't see it. I don't see all the connections that they're drawing. So, I mean, if there's a case to be made, I'll listen to it. But it's not, for me, it's not clocking. That's just how I feel. I'm just being real with you. So if you disagree with me in the comments, please let me know. Let me know what I'm missing, or if there's something I need to read or whatever, then let's hop in on that. But right now, I'm just not seeing it. All right, let's get into this Don Lemon stuff because, oh, by the way, Iron Oxide is here. What's up, buddy? Iron Oxide, friend of the channel. Make sure to check him out on Ironcast, which is going to be tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. That's where we're going to get into, more detail about the hard news aspects of this. Like, here's the thing. I'm just like bringing this up because it's like what people are talking about right now. That's more of like a news and information show. This is more of like a commentary show. So like, and by the way, the reason I say that, the story is changing in real time. So the reason I went live a little late was because the story was changing. And, people were talking about whether or not he was going to be charged. So some of you probably don't know what I'm talking about. So we're going to get right into it. We're going to start reacting to some of the videos here. Toasty's here. What's up, girl? Hey, Toasty was on Simpcast with Chrissy Mayer last night. Huge career milestone for Toasty. So big congratulations are in order to her. I was in the chat. I don't know if you saw me. I was in the chat. So big congratulations. So make sure to go check out Toasty's content and make sure to go watch her on Simpcast as well. And post something in the comments. That way Toasty gets invited back. Because we want that. Big stuff for everybody. Oh, Ronald Skinburn's here. What's up, buddy? Happy to see you. We're gonna start with I'm still a little new to this story. Like the story was kind of like developing yesterday, so I'm still a little new to it. So we're gonna be kind of like investigating it together, if that's cool. Um, let's see. Oh shit. Oh, there we go. And I'm gonna make myself a little bigger. There we go. Is this you guys can see me okay, I assume. I don't know. Let's hold on. How do I make this bigger? There we go.
You ever fucking deployed? Oh, you've never deployed.
It's not Don Lemon, to be clear. This is some asshole who was also there. So I'll just tell you what happened. So this group of protesters, for whatever reason, and we will find out more as the day progresses. This is just like me getting to it this morning. This group of protesters decided to walk into a church, which would have been yesterday morning on Sunday, and just disrupt the church service. And the motive that the media is reporting right now is that apparently there's a pastor who works there who is somehow affiliated with ICE. I do not know what that means. I don't know what affiliated with ICE or working with ICE or working for ICE means in this context. It's starting to feel a little bit like Montagues and Capulets. It's like a little bit like Catholics and Protestants in Northern Ireland, where it's like, the IRA guy, the old joke, the IRA guy comes up behind, puts a gun to the guy's head, said, "You a Catholic or Protestant?" Says, "I'm an atheist." It's like Catholic atheist or Protestant atheist, right? Because it's not religious. It's like a tribal delineation thing. Right. So worked with ICE or worked for ICE could mean like anything. I have no idea, but it's like very tribal. They just decided that this church was one of the bad guys and they needed to go get disrupted. Right. Bad look. If you guys are regular viewers of Ironcast, you'll remember when I was on a couple nights ago on Thursday. Shout out to Ironcast, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 7:30 p.m. That's more of a news show. This is more of like a solo commentary show. So that if you want actual information, go over there. That's not what the show is for. I was on there the other night and I was saying that by the time a lot of people are complaining that Trump has not gone in harder with more boots on the ground and gone for a more iron-fisted authoritarian approach to quelling the civil unrest in Minneapolis. My point was, by the time he does go in, everybody's gonna think it's a great idea. I mean, it's foreplay. By the time he goes in, we're gonna be begging for it. I think is how I worded it, which is, that's questionable. I'll be honest with you. That's sus. That's a sus thing for an adult man with this appearance to say. I do understand that. No, I hear you on that. However, absolutely. Like, I think, and what I'm seeing now is that people who are on like the dissident right or like the Wang half right or the, like the hardcore, far right guys who are like fascism curious, they're like, bro, you need to go in boots on the ground. But like regular ass people, because you got to think most of the country is still like regular ass people. And regular ass people are not necessarily where conservative people are in terms of wanting troops in there. Like I want social order restored. I am very sensitive to that. But a lot of people are like, I think because the ICE raids are just a use of force, I think a lot of people feel like it's like, ugh, like it feels mean right now. And so they're still sensitive to the protesters because the ICE raids felt mean kind of intuitively to a lot of normies who don't necessarily understand the issues, right? But the flip side of that is the protesters are starting to wear out their welcome. And we've gone over, numerous videos on this show and on other shows. We've gone over numerous videos of the protesters really wearing out their welcome. And this one here, like disrupting this church service, this, from what I've seen, has played very badly. Like, this is a hard thing to justify because the people they're going after do not seem to be hardcore ideological people. They seem like people who are like, I always say, minding their sweet Christian business. These people were literally minding their sweet Christian business. They were literally just going to church, and these people went in and were acting like lunatics. We're going to see some video from it here in a second. That's enough setup probably to actually get into the video. Let's check in with the chat real quick, because it got some good points in here. For them, it could be as simple as ICE supportive. Yeah, that's right. So basically, or by the way, it could also mean not even ICE supportive. They just maybe were neutral, or maybe somebody heard a rumor and like didn't bother to confirm it. They just decided as a mob that this church needed to get fucked with for some reason. Like, who knows if this guy even had anything to do with ICE? It doesn't seem, I gotta say, they interview the guy. We're gonna get to that. They interview the guy. He doesn't seem to be like super ideological. He's not like, I wouldn't have been like, oh yeah, I bet that guy is super pro ICE. I wouldn't have like guessed that, but I also was like, I don't know. I'm not sensitive to this like tribal thing that's going on down there, where it's like pro ICE and anti ICE are forming into like warring factions. I'm not sensitive to that. So I don't know. The vibe on the ground must be different, because like I don't really give a shit about, like, you could have whatever opinions you want to have. I don't really give a shit. Just like mind your business and don't fuck with people. But of course, that's the great libertarian paradox, isn't it? Is like, if the rule was mind your own business and don't fuck with people, I could abide by that just fine. Most of my audience, I've noticed, very high IQ, very self-educated, a lot of people who do their own research, which is awesome. I like you guys already. I could tell I could hang out with you guys and it'd be cool. I can tell already. So I like that. But you guys would be fine if the rule was just mind your own business and don't fuck with other people. You guys would all be fine. But that can't be the rule because of dipshits like this guy. Anyway, go ahead. We're going to get into the Don Lemon thing. I've been talking for 12 minutes. Let's get into the Don Lemon thing. You know, boots on the ground is fascist adjacent, but the protesters are brown shirts, like, for real. No, so the fascist adjacent people want boots on the ground, but I think boots, but the normies aren't there yet. So the normies aren't set, because the fascists, that's their answer to everything. So their answer to too many abortions is boots on the ground. Their answer to trannies in schools is boots on the ground. Their answer to the Indian guy who owns the Subway by their house didn't put enough cheese on it. Boots on the ground. That's their answer to everything. That's just what they think is a good idea. That's just how their brains work. No, but I think managing optics is super important if you're going to use force, because look at how much backlash they got from the ICE use. I think some of that was, so some people are saying that was intentional because they're trying to justify boots on the ground. But I think I don't know if I go that far. If this is like, I don't know if this is like a 4D chess thing to introduce fascism. I don't know if I buy that. That's what some people on the left are saying. But I actually think what's happening is, like, optically, you have to wait until public opinion broadly supports use of force, or you look heavy-handed, and that can hurt you. That can burn political capital if you look heavy-handed. Like, if you send... Oh, there's one video I have to show you guys. Okay, hold on. I have to find that. We'll get to it. If you look too heavy-handed, then you burn political capital, and it becomes less popular to support you, and it can be harder to get your agenda done later. But if you wait until the protesters act like an ass to such a point that even normies support you getting in there kicking their ass, then you're Gucci. This is about, like, optics management. It's like, I don't, like, fascist isn't really... No, fascist is just a slur that leftists use for effective government that they don't like. Like, it doesn't mean like anything sophisticated anymore. It's just like, if the government is being effective at accomplishing policy goals that the left doesn't like, then it's fascist. And if they're not being effective, then it's gross incompetence. So we are asked to believe at once that Donald Trump is a megalomaniacal, genius, fascist dictator, and also a grossly incompetent man who wears adult diapers. We have to believe both of those things at the same time in order to be a leftist, which is crazy. right? I keep talking. I've now been talked for 15 minutes. We've watched 3 seconds of this video. I have to actually play this at some point. Hold on, what is this? It's anti-ICE and everyone else. They chant, if you're not with us, you're against us. Yeah, they're really milking that friend-enemy distinction, which is kind of crazy. I don't know what's with that. This is what I think. I think these people are best received as like religious fanatics. And I think if we look at this as like a case of like religious fanaticism or like psychosis or like the mob has taken over these people, like they've formed a mob that cannot be reasoned with, and they're just running around behaving like a mob. And I think that's the best way to think about it. I don't think we should think about these people as like people ideologically motivated people that we disagree with that could be reasoned with. I don't think that's right. Now, as the mob gets progressively more destructive, eventually people are going to be like, yeah, send the people in. What the hell are you doing? You know, and I don't think he's going to let it get, because remember, this is nowhere near as big as the 2020 Summer of Love incident. So already, I don't think Trump is going to let it get that far, but I think it's smart to wait until public opinion is squarely on your side, because somebody's going to get hurt. If he goes in there with troops, somebody is going to get hurt, and he's going to burn some political capital as a result of that. Like that one girl who got her eye taken out, and there's one dude who lost a ball, but we'll pull up that video in a second. It's crazy because these people, by the way, this is what I mean by religious fanatics. They love it when they get injured, because then they can be like, look how much I sacrificed for the cause. That's why that one guy was like bragging about losing a ball. We'll pull up that video in a second if we have time. He was bragging about it because like you couldn't waterboard that out of me, but he was bragging about it because it's like, look how much I sacrificed for the cause. Like that little girl with the chin strap goatee and the eyeball missing. You know, she was like, look how much I sacrificed for the cause. Like, that's why they're so excited to die, because they're not thinking about being dead. They're thinking about, think of all the social capital I would get if I were a martyr, because their lives are all of these it's all about Machiavellian scheming for social capital, because they're just like animalistic narcissists. That's just how they think. It's fucked up, but like everything they talk about with like empathy and compassion and stuff, it's actually just them jockeying for position, because being empathetic and compassionate is how you attract power and praise and admiration to yourself. So it's all like completely like funhouse mirror morality, like Crazy Town, Looney Tunes, funhouse mirror morality. It's horrible. It's like it's just the worst people you could ever hope to meet, and all of their morality is upside down. It's just horrible. Just horrible people. Just the worst people you could ever hope to meet, unfortunately. Yeah, it's just awful. Yeah, and you can't reason with that, because it's like they're just like jockeying for position. They don't care about truth. They're just jockeying for position. And try, which is, by the way, this is what Jesus criticized the Pharisees for. These loud professions of holiness to demonstrate that you're better than other people. That's what the left's virtue signaling is. That's what Jesus was criticizing the Pharisees for, by the way. Just so we know, just so we're all on the same page with that. Anyway, I've been talking for almost 20 minutes and I've played 3 seconds of this video. So let's just, you know, take it from the top and see where we get. Go ahead. Oh, shit. There we go. Okay, there we go. I'm doing it. It's a very technologically sophisticated
You ever
show.
fucking deployed? Oh, you've never deployed. So you're a staff sergeant, never deployed, who is now violating the Constitution.
Okay, so this asshole is up in a federal agent's face, sticking a phone at him. Now, remember, as we've said numerous times, if you did this to an actual brown shirt or an actual Nazi, this is what Iron was saying earlier, that these people would like, you know, they would kick your ass. They'd beat you up, kill you, put you in jail, whatever, you know, and this guy is just putting up with it. Because I'll make the screen bigger. Okay, hold on. Let's see. One of these. We're just going to go through these. Boop. There we go. That's a little too small. That's too big. That's just me. Okay. Is that too big? That's better. Okay. There we go. Now you can kind of see. All right, there we go. Boop.
Excuse us. What's your deal? You don't believe in the Constitution? Is that what it is? Why do you get paid for this? I don't get paid at all. I'm a volunteer. I do this for love of the Republic, unlike you. You come from some fucking state far away to come fucking betray your oath to the Constitution. It's funny to you, motherfucker? You piece of fucking shit. Never did a damn thing for this country, but you wear that uniform with pride.
Okay, I think this guy was also at the church thing. This is not from the church thing, obviously, but I think he was also at the church thing. Go ahead.
What's up, bitch? What's up?
Hi, how's it going?
What you got to say, motherfucker? What you got to say, you punk ass bitch?
You're harassing our
Fuck
soldiers
off.
after doing-
I'm a combat infantry veteran. These fuckers ain't done shit.
Yeah, nice work for 30 fucking years.
So what? Yo, so you don't believe in the Constitution either, asshole?
That's exactly why they're out.
You're
Exactly
so
why you're out
fucking
there doing what
stupid.
you're doing.
You don't know nothing
Thank
about
you.
the Constitution.
Yeah, okay, so very substantive argument this guy's forwarding. Let's see. And then, then the church thing. Yeah, this video is from the church thing. So this is
Christians, all these
so this is him breaking into the church, and then Don Lemon becomes evident later. Okay, go ahead.
comfortable white people who are living lavish, comfortable lives while children are dragged into concentration camps. You're living real life, nice lives with your lattes, doing
By the way,
absolutely nothing.
imagine just going into a church like this and just yelling at a bunch of children and women and thinking that you're the good guy. Imagine that shit, dude. Imagine that shit. Oh, hold on. Iron Oxide is here. What's up, buddy? Hold on. Is Iron here? Where'd he go? Okay, I can't hear him. Okay, I can't tell if he's here or not. Anyway, we're gonna keep rolling with the video.
For your Latino and Somali brothers and sisters. You come here to a man wearing a suit. Is a preacher? Did Jesus wear a suit? Did Jesus profit off the words? No. Jesus would dine with enemies. You do not touch me. Touch me again and see what happens.
Hey, you can't.
You are a fake Christian. Why are you not standing with your Christian?
Wow. Okay, so that guy seems great. Just like a lot of fun. Anyway, so this was part of the thing. So these people are storming the church, and then somehow Don Lemon gets roped into it. So this is him at the church reporting on the scene. Oh, wait, hold on. I was showing the wrong tab. That's my bad. Okay, there we go. Let's go ahead and play this.
Watch this guy here. Look, he's hugging his kid.
This is Don Lemon outside the church reporting on it.
And you know, I imagine it's uncomfortable and traumatic for the people here. But again, careful. It's very slippery right here.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable and traumatic for the people here. But that's what really careful, please. Really slippery. Not kidding. That's what protesting is about. And
Yeah, protesting is all about traumatizing children. You can quote Don Lemon on that. Oh Lord. Okay, go ahead. And then this was him talking to the priest, which I think this was the video that has gotten the most traction and where he comes off as just like purely insufferable. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and pull this up.
What do you think of this? I mean, this is unacceptable. It's shameful. It's shameful to interrupt a public gathering of Christians in worship.
but there were folks who
I have to take care of my flock.
Okay, but listen, we live in there's a constitution in the First Amendment to freedom of speech and freedom to assemble and protest.
We're here to worship. We're here to worship Jesus because that's the hope of these cities. That's the hope of the world is Jesus Christ.
I want to be very respectful. Please don't push me though.
We're here to worship
Anyway, go ahead.
Jesus. That's why we're here. That's why we're here. That's what we're about.
Don't you think Jesus would be understanding
We're about
and
worship.
love these folks?
We're about spreading the love of Jesus.
But did you try to talk to them as they
ask that you actually would also leave this building?
you don't want us to
Unless you're here to
chronicle that?
worship. Unless you're here to worship.
I'm always worship. I'm a Christian.
We're here to worship. We're here to worship. Okay.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh man, what a guy. So he comes out very unfavorably in that interaction. I think a lot of people are going to see that. I think it's going to be hard for most normies to justify that. I think also just to be clear, when it comes to the First Amendment, you're not allowed. The government can't place restrictions on content of speech, but it can place restrictions on time, place, and manner of speech. So where, when, and how you say what you say can be restricted, and this is like grossly inappropriate. I don't know how you could make a First Amendment claim that this was justified. This is like insane. This is an insane thing to do, and to disrupt a church for service like that is deeply evil. It's deeply evil. It's a really awful thing to do. Let's go ahead and pull this up. This I just saw. I don't actually know what this is, but this is Betty Johnson posted this. Apparently, let's see. The Department of Justice announces intentions to charge Don Lemon under the Ku Klux Klan Act. The KKK Act makes it illegal to threaten, hurt, or intimidate people to prevent them from exercising their God-given rights. Harmeet Dillon, the Klan Act is one of the most important federal civil rights statutes. It's a law that makes it illegal to terrorize and violate the civil rights of citizens. Whenever people conspire the Klan Act can be used. Everyone in the protest community needs to know the fullest force the federal government is going to come down and prevent this from happening to put people away for a long time. Very interesting. So we're going to see what she says. That's interesting. I assume it's what I just read out, but she's going to say it. It's probably going to look better coming from her. Let's go ahead and play some of that. Go ahead. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm not sharing the right tab again. There we go. Okay. And we're doing a very professional show.
We will pursue charges in this case. I see various crimes that have occurred. Exactly what they are, I'm not going to flag, but the FACE Act has been mentioned as one of the predicates there. In other cases, the Biden DOJ used the Klan Act conspiracy charges tacked on to the FACE Act in the case of protests outside abortion clinics to bring much longer sentences. So there are a number of tools available to us. Who funded this? What else? What other crimes may have occurred? Was there a use of the wires or the mails in preparing for this event? Did anyone cross state lines to do this?
By the way, why that's relevant, if anything happened through the mail or cross state lines, then that gives them the ability to bring additional federal charges because now it's interstate. So it's not just state charges that are at your disposal at that point. It's also federal charges. So that's pretty cool. That's why it's important to frame it as like a hate crime issue, because then the federal government can step in, because all that shit is like federal. I mean, states have their own statutes too, but you got to make it something that the federal government has control over. So it's got to be like some kind of hate crime, something or whatever. So yeah, and so this is like what they're saying is interesting, that it was actually like like Biden who came up with using the Klan Act in this way. I think that's very interesting. I don't know. I'm very we're interested to see what's going on with this. We got a couple more. Let me check in with the chat real quick. This is straight up struggle session and brown shirt tactics. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. This is exactly what you would have expected. It's weird because everybody else is a Nazi, but this is like, God, this is a very authoritarian. You're deliberately breaking up a religious service with physical intimidation. That's insane. And what's crazy is law enforcement is nowhere to be found. Like, what does it say about where the city of Minneapolis is at right now? That the cops did not show up to break that up. Like, dude, and this is where people are. I think even like if you're a normal person, just a regular, how does like Joe Sixpack, like the normies at your office, dear viewer, you know, whoever you work with, like your coworkers who are just normie as fuck, don't even know that this is happening. How are they going to react to seeing a bunch of protesters walking into a church and just yelling at women and children? How are they going to react to that? Do you think that's going to reflect well on the cause, or do you think they're going to be like, nah? And this is what I'm saying about optics. I think stuff like this optically is just horrible for their side, and it makes it look like a good idea for Trump to send additional muscle in there. And the longer they go, the more horrible optics moments they're going to have, because they're a mob now, so they're not being rational. Go ahead, let's watch the rest of this. Oh, and apparently the bearded guy that we were showing earlier is from Washington, D.C. So he's not even from here. I think what is going on with this like protest tourism, because some of these people are being paid and some of these people are just straight up like just showing up for the love of the game. And I think some of it, what I was reading is that a lot of the stuff that gets quote unquote paid is they'll like bail them out of jail and like give them lawyers and pay for their healthcare costs and stuff like that. Like lawyers if they get arrested, healthcare costs if they get hurt, stuff like that. Like pay for their signs, pick them up and move them to other places. There's like relatively few direct payments, but most of it is like just like paying for the apparatus to facilitate protests and make it easier. I do wonder if people are being bussed in. I actually don't know the answer to that. Some people have suggested that. I haven't seen any direct evidence of that, but it is weird. It does seem like there are people who are traveling from all around. Where's Renee Good from again, chat? She was from somewhere else. She had relocated to Minneapolis specifically to participate in the struggle against ICE, I think. That's what I had heard. And this guy from Washington, D.C., I'm assuming it's kind of the same deal. People just go where the protests are hot. I think this is what I'm saying. It's like a religious zealotry thing. Yeah. Yeah. It's like, so I would say 90% are paid. They get paid legal fees and other incentives. Yeah. So I'm thinking, yeah, this is, but a lot of these people I think are true believers too. I think they're zealots. That is a factor. I don't know what the percentage is between people who are there. There's some percentage of people that are there because they want to fuck shit up. There's some percentage of people there, like, okay, because think about it. Like, my life isn't going well. Good was from Missouri. Thanks, Chad. Okay, she's from Missouri. So this is what I'm saying. Like, there's some people that just like, my life sucks and isn't going well, so I'm going to go fuck shit up and throw a rock at a cop. Okay, that's one faction. Another faction is, here, I'm going to go like this. Another faction is true believers who are zealots, and another faction is people who have some kind of like incentive to be there, whether it's like financial or whatever, like they've got some kind of reason. So I'm not sure what the split is. I think more of these people than we would like to believe are true believers who think that like going out there and fighting ICE is awesome, and they're literally in the Harry Potter universe. I took a screenshot of a bunch of YouTube comments on a short. I don't know if I have that on my computer, so I don't know if I can pull that up, but like, literally in the comments, they're talking about, we grew up reading Harry Potter, and now it's obvious who the Death Eaters are. And it's like, Jesus Christ, you guys are retarded. Oh my God. Like, it's just, you can't, they're just like very emotional. They're fiction brained. They're like just driven purely by emotion. And it's like, they're not like thinking rationally about, you're going to risk your life so that like foreigners can stay here. Foreigners who hate you. They're not thinking about it rationally, which is kind of crazy. Because considering how much risk they're taking, they're not thinking about it rationally, which makes me think, I think some of this is like deliberately programmed by social media. Some of it is stoked by Democrat politicians, by figures in the media. Some of it is programming coming straight from the phone. And what is interesting? Okay, so think about this and tell me what's going on with this. Tell me if I'm off base with this. I think the politicians are addicted to their phones too. So how much of politicians' policy is driven by like TikTok brain? Because they're not smart people. The people who, like Tim Walz is not like a great intellect. He's probably, and he's a boomer, so he's 100% addicted to his phone. How much of his like policies are driven by just what the phone tells him to do? And how many, like, you think Jasmine Crockett is not addicted to her phone? You think AOC is not addicted to her phone? Like, how much of like actual policy making is driven by just whatever is being pushed on social media? And by the way, that could be pushed by the intelligence agencies. We don't know who the fuck is pushing that. Yeah. We don't know who the fuck is pushing that. So, yeah. So I think there's a good chance that if you think that the intelligence agencies are not trying to leverage social media to manipulate public opinion, I think you're out of your fucking mind. They definitely are. It's just a question of how much. And it is a question of like who's driving the bus a little bit. Because I think a lot of us have said, oh, the Democrat Party is pushing out X, Y, and Z message. But a lot of the people who are in the Democrat Party are true believers in the woke religion. And they are because the phone is programming them. And the messages on the phone are coming from the intelligence agencies. So I don't know. Now that makes me think that like who's actually driving the bus? Now I'm just spitting out, basically. This is just like Theocracy with Candace Owens today, I guess. We're just making shit up. We're just making shit up. Seriously, by the way, tell me what you guys thought about the last episode of Touch Grass. I really like that girl. So I'm probably gonna have her back. but because we didn't get into patriarchy till the very end of the discussion. Anyway, let's not get completely derailed on that. Leave comments on that video. Don't put those in here. All right, let's go ahead and pull this up.
All of those are potential predicates for additional federal charges.
I mean, I've just pulled up the Klan Act because this is the first time that I've heard this mentioned. This is a act that was passed in 1871, correction there, to combat the Ku Klux Klan and protect African Americans' voting rights, especially the Enforcement Act, which is known as the Force Act. So here's some of the information on screen. Would you mind breaking down for us, because we have just read the FACE Act and how this is in affinity to the FACE Act. And
this is actually an interesting point. Going to the chat. Ronald Skinberg, Tim Walz is not a great intellect, but the guy is single-handedly starting the Second American Civil War. Yeah, that's actually, it's also possible that I might be underestimating him. Like, at first I thought, here's the thing. I think he has to die on this. Because here's the thing. If the Somali fraud situation gets investigated, he's probably going to federal prison. So this is kind of his, like, last stand. Like, he has no incentive to cave at this point, because if he cooperates, he's probably going to prison. Like, probably. Like, I don't know what all happened, but there's like a 0% chance he's not at least getting prosecuted. Like, he is going to undergo a career-ending prosecution when this is over, one way or another. So he really has no incentive to cooperate. And I think he's already burnt the bridge with Trump. I think he's tried to adopt a conciliatory tone, and Trump has been like, fuck off. You will find no quota here. Literally James Bond villain level. Yeah, it does feel that way. I don't know. Yeah, I don't. Here's the thing. I don't. Maybe he is, orchestrating this and pulling the strings expertly, and maybe he's just retarded. I don't know. I guess it's hard for. It's hard for. I don't know if he has a plan for a way out, or if he's playing a dangerous game. But yeah, like I said, he has no incentive to give up at this point, because as soon as he does, he's going to prison. And now he's added a bunch of other shit that I'm sure Trump would like to charge him with. The fact that he referenced Gettysburg like twice. Dude, like, and he mentioned being at war, Gettysburg once, and he mentioned being at war with the federal government in those words twice. Is like, dude, I'm surprised the Delta Force didn't helicopter in and kidnap him. Dude, like, it's just, I don't know when they're going to learn. It's a bad idea to make an enemy out of Donald Trump. Like, that's just not an enemy you want to have. Like, especially, he has more guns than you. Like, what the fuck do you think is going to happen? Like, that sheriff down there talking about, we played that clip on the show like a week ago. She was like, yeah, my officers are going to arrest ICE agents. It's like, what the fuck do you mean? You mean your armed agents are going to arrest other armed agents? How do you think that ends for you? How do you think that plays out? What do you think is going to happen when, like, armed agents try to arrest other armed agents? Like, what do you think happens? You fucking idiot. Anyway.
Obvious and egregious demonstrable violation of the FACE Act, because they were entering a place of worship, harassing and threatening. We just played a video of a bearded man, who was threatening to attack the Christians that were worshiping there. So it seems like an obvious FACE Act violation. But the Klan Act here, it is on screen. First time I've heard it mentioned. Can you unpack this for us, Harmeet?
Yeah, the Klan Act is one of the most important federal civil rights statutes, and it goes back to the time when President Lincoln emancipated the slaves, and yet the southern states, Dixiecrats mainly, were refusing to give them equal rights. And in fact, that you had sheriffs and you had
the Republicans love to mention that Democrats were the slave party, were the racist party. They love mentioning that. That's like their favorite thing. That's their favorite talking point. Hey guys, remember when the Democrats were racist? They love bringing that shit up. Oh man. Anyway, go ahead.
Law enforcement harassing the newly freed slaves. So the Klan Act is a law that makes it illegal to terrorize citizens, to violate their civil rights, to get together and conspire to violate the civil rights. It is often used against law enforcement, but is now used against others as well. So whenever anyone conspires to violate the protected civil rights of American citizens, the Klan Act can be used to bring a conspiracy charge. We, in the federal law enforcement parlance, call this 241 and 242 civil and criminal conspiracies. And so what the Biden administration did is, if 3 grandmas got together to pray outside an abortion clinic for the souls of the people inside, and including unborn children, they would say, oh, that's not just a violation of the Klan Act, that's a conspiracy to violate the civil rights of women going in there to get abortions.
Yeah, see how fucked up that is? Are you guys tracking that? Okay, so the original purpose of the legislation was to stop the Ku Klux Klan from like using violent threats to stop Black people from voting, and they used it to arrest and put people in jail for protesting outside of abortion clinics. You see how fucked up that is? What's crazy about that is like the number one demographic, the highest per capita percentage of abortions is far and away Black people. And that was by design, if you know the history of Planned Parenthood. I'm not going to get into that on this show, but like, that's just like not even like a disputed fact about reality, that like Margaret Sanger was like big on eugenics and was like, you know, it'd be awesome if all of these undesirables got a ton of abortions and there were less of them. Like, she was like explicit that that's what she thought. So this is not even like Theo's conspiracy theory hour. This is just like a documented fact about reality. So again, this is when I talk about like funhouse mirror morality, or like literally an inversion of good, calling an evil inversion of good, and call that basically a funhouse mirror of what's actually good and virtuous, and then calling that good. But it's objectively evil, but you dress it up and you put a pretty bow on it and you give it a cool name like Black Lives Matter or something. And it's just like not about that at all. It's just like a front for money laundering. It's horrible. Yeah, that's a good point. In context, silently praying in protest outside the clinics in some cases. Yeah, because I will admit some of those abortion protesters be doing too much. I get you. I understand that being obnoxious, but silent prayer is usually okay anywhere. And so going after those people in that way with the full strength of the federal government is yeesh. Very worrying. Very worrying. Not good. So, then Trump is actually getting creative about this. This use of it actually kind of makes more sense. We'll have to see if the courts agree that that's a use of this statute. We'll have to see. We won't know yet. But yeah.
So we're going to add additional charges and punish that more and make it from a misdemeanor under the FACE Act to a felony under the Klan Act. And President Trump pardoned the pro-life protesters in those cases. I have recently defended successfully in the 11th Circuit a case called Oropesa, a case of Jane's Revenge, the pro-abortion protesters violently attacking crisis pregnancy centers in Florida. And we had the court uphold the Klan Act criminal enhancement to the FACE Act.
All right, so that. Anyways, that's what they're going to do, basically. So that's exciting. Looking forward to that. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I think I don't understand a lot of people are frustrated because nothing has happened yet. But this is like, I think optically as bad as it's been. I think because you got to think like not just because you guys are like people who like follow Twitter and you've seen a bunch of these gnarly videos, and most people are way behind. So most normies are seeing, like, if they're seeing anything, they're seeing stuff that you like saw a long time ago. So all they really know is that like ICE raids are bad and it's mean. ICE is being mean to foreigners, and some brave, intrepid protesters are out doing nothing. And remember the original narrative about Renee Good was she was just on her way to soccer practice or whatever the fuck, and she got shot. So like there's still a split opinion in the general public about whether or not she hit the cop with her car. That's not in dispute anymore. Like, it's a matter of fact that she hit the cop with her car. That's he has internal bleeding. But the media has not corrected that narrative broadly. And there's still people in the media who are suggesting that she was just driving away. So this is kind of like another one of those like hands up, don't shoot situations, or those I can't breathe situations where the misinformation has wildly outpaced the correct information for the normie audience. So in order to win back public opinion, I understand why Donald Trump wants to be patient before sending in troops, because public opinion is really against him after that. Not necessarily, I don't think the majority opinion is still probably with him, but I think he's like waiting on normies. And there's a certain amount, there's probably like a third of leftists that you're just like never going to win over anyway. There's whatever you have, whatever you do, is if it has Trump's name attached to it, they're not going to like it. What's this? They also arrested a college kid in Florida for eating a pork chop Sammy's in front of Buzzy's praying and gave him 15 years. Damn. Yeah, so they're used to this. Is really creative. It'll be interesting to see this if they're actually able to bring charges in this way. I think it's completely inappropriate. I think Don Lemon's attempt to reskin that as legitimate protest is shameful and embarrassing. And for him to sit there and be like, well, I'm just a journalist and I'm documenting this. Again, for more on this, I'm sure we're going to cover this on Ironcast tomorrow when we actually have real information. I'm sure we're going to cover stuff like that. So there's going to be more information about this coming out. There's going to be more video clips coming out. This is just a couple of the things that we're like kicking around X today. This really bears. And I'm sure the protesters are going to do more shit today. So we'll find out. But like, again, the more shit they do, the more unsympathetic they look to normal people. Because like normal people, a lot of normal people, they still go to church, and they go to like low key churches like that. Like they don't go to church like I go to church. Like some of them do. Like those of you that are Catholic, shout out to my fellow Catholic viewers out there. You guys go to church like I go to church. But like most people go to like fucking like normie Protestant churches like that. That's a super normal looking church that exists all over America, where you go and you sit in a chair and you listen to some like guy with maybe a little too much hair gel, and he's talking about how Jesus loves everybody, blah, blah, blah. And that people can imagine sitting in a church like that. Like I've been to churches like that, you know, that's very normal across. These are normal ass people who didn't want any smoke. And these mentally unhinged weirdos came in and yelled at them and cursed at them and were disruptive and physically intimidated them. Yeah, that's a bad look. That's a bad look. Okay. And if you look at, by the way, compare the excesses of the protesters with the restraint of the ICE agents. Like, think about that. If the ICE agents really were unhinged, think how well armed they are. If they really were as unhinged as they're claimed to be, what would have actually happened? Right. So, but that's actually like that's not the case. So, but I think I really want to find this one particular video. I don't know where I bookmarked it. We're gonna find it. I know somebody sent it to, I don't know if somebody sent it to me or if I saw it on my own. We're gonna have to find it. But yeah, like I think what's happening now is that they have like the mob has taken on this character where people are fetishizing. It's another angle of the church protest. Okay, hold on. I got more shit. This is why I got to look through my shit before I go live. Okay, I got 2 more videos. We're going to duplicate this one. You guys bear with me. Thank you for bearing with me, audience. This is best audience on the internet. Best audience on the internet. We got one more angle of the church protest that I want to show you guys. And then, And then we're going to get into, I don't even know if you'd call this a protest, to be honest with you. This is like not, I mean, I don't know what about, this is not like a protest implies that this is like people legally exercising their rights
According to
dissent for the government. So this is being covered and narrated by Don Lemon. Go ahead.
So you can see the protesters here have gathered over here.
This is for those of you that don't attend church. This is a very normie looking church to me. This is some kind of Protestant denomination, probably. I mean, they could be Catholic. They do have stained glass windows. But if I had to guess, I would say these people, Minnesota, I would say probably Lutheran, just because of the heritage. So I'm guessing these are like high church Protestants. These look like Lutherans to me. Just normie as fuck. This is like very normal. Like if you bump into a Christian at a grocery store, they probably attend a church like this, depending on where you are. Right? Like this is a very normie church from my perspective. This isn't like a crazy snake handling church. This isn't like a super elaborate cathedral like I'd like to go to. You know, this is like normal ass church that a lot of people go to. So I think the normies thus far have found the protesters somewhat sympathetic because they feel like ICE is mean. But things like this are going to change opinions. That's a good question. Okay, Ronald Skinburn is raising a good point. That was what I was saying earlier. It's alarming that the police did not show up to drag these people out, because this is trespassing. That's exactly right. This is not a government building. This is a church, and you're allowed to refuse people entry. You know, contrary to what a lot of leftists like to think. You are allowed to be like, no, fuck off. You're not allowed in here. Go.
They're in the middle of the church. In the beginning of the church service, the pastor was speaking, and Nakima stood up and said her piece, and then the protesters surrounded her. But this is a clandestine mission. I think they found out according to them, this is according to Operation Pullout, that one of the pastors here is
Operation Pullout. I ran a lot of those in college. Ayo. All right. That was a free one. Come see me do comedy on the road. All right.
A member of ICE. And so here we go.
You could talk to the lead pastor.
Yeah. Okay.
This was, bear in mind, this was a functioning church service, and then these fucking delinquents wandered in and just fucked everything up. That's what happened, by the way, just so we're tracking. And like, to Ron Skinburn's point, the police did not show up to do anything about it.
So you can see the protesters here.
Anyway, that's that. So let's check in with some of the way people. I also want to keep track of the way people are reacting on social media, because what's going on social media, it's what I've noticed, it's mostly women, you know, kind of being hysterical, which is not super new for social media. And remember, social media, people who are posting videos is not like, the people who post videos are probably the most hysterical 5%. But then there's a lot of people who agree with the videos and who share the video. And then the top hysterical 10% comments on videos. But then the most hysterical, like 50%, shares these videos around and agrees with them and has their behavior influenced in some way or other, or opinion some way or other influenced by these kind of videos. So that's why this stuff is important to go over. It's not just like, hey, we're going to dunk on women today. Although we should do that every day, to be clear. But that's not necessarily, it's not necessarily what we're doing today. But let's go. But I think one thing I want to make clear is that these people are living out a fantasy of martyrdom, and they're trying to live that out here. And they're trying to, the reason there so many of them are talking about, oh my God, what if I die? Like, some of it is like, oh my God, what if an ICE agent puts his big strong hands on me and tears all my clothes off to check if I have Mexican bush or whatever. Like, some of that is like legitimately like horny, repressed sexual, whatever, longing for strong men, like subconsciously filling the country with dangerous foreigners so that big strong men will step up and do something about it, because women enjoy watching violence and to some degree experiencing it. That's all true. But like, some of it is like a Harry Potter martyrdom fantasy. Like, they're not thinking about being dead. They're thinking about how much social capital they will get for dying for the cause, which I know is paradoxical. It's paradoxical because like I think about, like, okay, I'm Catholic, so I'm not above thinking about martyrdom. For sure. They like literally raise you. If you are properly catechized, they tell you about all of the saints and all the horrible ways they died for their faith. So like, I'm not above thinking about it, but martyrdom is not something that I would ever be excited about. It would be like a solemn responsibility that were thrust on me in a moment of incredible crisis. And it would be really hard. And I would really not want to do it. That is just not how these people are talking about martyrdom. Like they're talking about it in this very attention-seeking way where they're like, where it's clear that they're like getting off to the social capital and the attention. Go ahead.
This is a message from my mom.
Oh, wait, hold on. Professor Savage Dad, Theo, how will you get off to this? Multiple times, slowly, and after the camera is off. You will not be seeing that. That'll be a Patreon exclusive. Shout out to my Patreon. By the way, sub to my Patreon. Check out the Stream Elements tip jar. Make sure to send me money. And here's why. I don't make a lot of money from YouTube. I like make like little dribs and drabs of like whatever you guys said. Like I still got to do comedy on the road and shit if I want to keep the lights on. So like, but it'd be really cool. Anything you send me for YouTube, it's not going to be like a significant part of my income, but it would be sick if I could do some stuff to make the show better. Like we recently upgraded. I hope you can tell if you watch, you can tell my camera's already looking better. I got a second ring light in here recently. And upgraded to StreamYard and some other stuff. So I'm able to use my camera at its full capacity. So little things like that, like little donations, it's like, it's not enough to like, you know, make a huge difference, but I will put it towards making the show better. So if you like the show and you want to throw some money at the show, I'm going to use it to make the show better. So it will make the thing you like better. So if that makes you happy, go ahead and do that. If not, I'm just going to keep spending my own money on it anyway. So it's like, you probably don't even have to do anything, to be honest. I don't know. That wasn't a very persuasive sales pitch, but here we go. Let's see what this lady has to say.
If I am executed by ICE officers today, it will not be because of anything that I did.
Right. I love how she hasn't even done the thing yet, and she's already making sure everybody knows that she has zero accountability, that everything that happened is someone else's fault. Everything that hasn't happened yet is someone else's fault. Gotta love women, man. Gotta love women. Go ahead, sweetheart.
I want you to know a couple things. First, I don't carry weapons on me. Second, I won't be holding any signs.
It looks like she's got 2 big guns on her, respectfully. Go ahead.
There will be no indication from me that I'm a violent person or a threat to anyone. I do not plan on following anyone. I do not plan on screaming or shouting or even speaking to anyone. I am there to observe and document.
Okay, this observe and document thing. I think that is coming from the these organizations that are funded by, I don't know, some people are saying it's George Soros, some people are saying it's the Chinese Communist Party, whoever it is, these like Stop ICE organizations that like organize local community members to oppose ICE and be what they call legal observers. And they give them all this like horse shit, terrible legal advice. Like, you know, ICE agents are not even real cops. You could just piss on their leg and they won't do anything to you. It's like, don't do that. You can just run them over with your car. They can't even do anything. They don't even carry real bullets. They're basically just like mall cops. It's like, that's not real, bro. Anyway, so these organizations, they have this term legal observer. Can I say something? I made it all the way through law school a few years ago. Never once heard the term legal observer. Never once heard the term legal observer. So as far as I know, that's like a brand new propaganda term that these people are all, you know, peddling. The observe and document. I don't know if that's like a TikTok thing or if it's being pushed by these organizations that are training these people, or if it's like, or if they're all watching the same TikTok content. I don't know where they're all getting it, but I keep hearing that phrase over and over again. And as far as I know, that's fucking nonsense. I mean, you are allowed to observe, you are allowed to report, but what I'm seeing a lot of these people do is not observing and reporting. It's like fucking, they get there and they think that's what they're going to do. And then they get really worked up and groupthink takes over and they intervene physically because humans are dumb herd animals. And when we get into groups, we act retarded, right? I mean, we all know that. We all know that. Anybody who's, you know, ever been a teenage boy knows that you get in groups and you act retarded. I mean, fuck, man. It's, I don't know. It's, so I think this is deliberate. I don't know what the fuck is going on, but it seems like she's like taking this very seriously. I don't doubt her sincerity. I just don't know. It's weird that she, like, so many, particularly white women, have made themselves the main character of this story. It's like so many white women are like running out into the street to die for foreigners. And I don't know what the fuck is happening with that. Like, I don't know what it's just like, and I don't know what that has to do with it. I'm just like noticing the pattern. And I'm like, why the fuck is it all? It's like dissatisfied millennials. And here's the thing. I thought the issue was a lot of them didn't have husbands. Well, a lot of them are bitching about their husbands. So they do have husbands. I thought they didn't have children. Some of them have children. Some of them are bringing children to the protest. You guys heard about that? They were the overnight protest where it was like 6 degrees. There were people with like little kids at that protest, women with little kids at the protest. Like it was like a community event or something. Like what the fuck is okay, so I thought it was for sure it was childless, no husband, nothing better to do, so they don't feel like anybody needs them, so they're going to go try to mother the foreigners. But now I don't know what the fuck to make of it. It's some kind of like religious zeal. I thought it was this misplaced maternal instinct. I thought that hypothesis was like cocksure. Now I'm thinking it might be some kind of like religious zealotry thing. Because, women are more vulnerable to getting super caught up in the hype of like weird religious stuff like that, like weird like religious psychosis. And that's what this kind of resembles. I don't know. I'm not an expert at this. I'm just like watching it. I'm trying to figure out what the fuck is going on here. Anyway.
This is a historical moment for me in my lifetime.
See, it's all about her. She's the main character, blah, blah, blah. This is not like new behavior, right, from women. This is just something that we're observing. So it's like not unusual for like narcissistic, self-absorbed, not that intelligent women. Go ahead.
For the state of Minnesota, and no matter what the outcome is, I believe it deserves to be documented. I believe it is my responsibility and my right.
So she's reading off a paper that's over here. Go ahead.
To document it firsthand as an observer. Show what is happening in my city.
Why you though?
I believe in the freedom and
Don't
the
you have
foundations
children?
of America and the United States Constitution. I also believe in change and progress. If I am executed today by ICE officers...
Wait, hold on. She believes in the Constitution and she believes in change and progress? Go back.
If I am executed today by ICE officers of the Constitution, I also of America and the United States Constitution.
Wait, hold on.
Happening in my city. I believe in the freedom and the foundations of America and the United States Constitution.
Right.
I also believe in change and progress.
Okay, see, those things are not the same thing. Those things contradict each other. Go ahead.
If I am executed today by ICE officers, it will not be because of anything that I did.
I just want to be clear. Nothing that happens was my fault. I did nothing wrong. I was perfect. They were the problem. They were just jealous of my beauty.
I'm saying this because I need you to understand what you're supporting and what you're fighting against and possibly reconsider.
Oh, okay. So her mom is like a Trump supporter or something. That's like the punchline. All right. Let's oh, this one is gnarly, guys. So this one I'm gonna have to do a content warning for this one. It's not visually gnarly, but it's just like you're gonna have a hard time getting the image out of your head once you play it. Okay, go ahead, sweetheart. Let's see what he's got to say.
I shot me in the nuts, and now I'm losing a ball. Surgery is tomorrow.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Why did he say that on the internet when you couldn't waterboard that out of me? My God. Anyway, why is he saying this on the internet? And I think what he's doing is, I mentioned this earlier in the broadcast, but I think what he's doing in this case is he's telegraphing, he's bragging about how much he's sacrificed for the cause. Like, he's got to know he's going to get roasted by conservatives for this. He doesn't give a shit because this is like the ultimate clout for him. He made a tremendous sacrifice, but not like the girl who lost her eye. So that's not a tremendous individual, visible sacrifice, you know? So he wants to make sure everybody knows about the incredible sacrifice he made. Because that's going to give him social capital. And it's the best thing other than martyrdom is to sacrifice your reproductive potential, I guess. Ugh, man, what a fucking weirdo. That made me deeply uncomfortable. Like, it was crazy how he's just bragging about it. Like, he seems psyched about it. That's weird to me. Deeply unsettling. Not good at all. Not good at all. All right, guys, let's go ahead and pull this up. What's up, sweetheart?
Listen up. If you are a husband and you are digging your face in the sand with everything that is happening right
Okay, that's another one too. So I've seen a lot of these videos going around where it's a white woman kind of like this, and they say ostriching, or they use the word ostriching specifically, or they use the term burying your head in the sand or burying your face in the sand. They use that exact language, and I've seen like 4 or 5 videos of different women who are saying that, which means they're passing around the video and they're like copying each other, and they're all like mad at their husbands, I guess. Because what's happening, I think, is like women are going to their husbands and they're being like, hey, is this a problem? And their husbands are like, no, don't worry about it. Don't be fucking, what are you, nuts? Have a taco. And they're like, you are not leading me. You are not protecting our family. So the responsibility is on me because I am the main character. Anyway.
Right now, your wife is going to end up divorcing you, especially if you have kids. If you are not doing anything to
The previous girl is given last will attestment of this guy's nut. Yes, exactly. What's crazy is, okay, but let's talk about this girl, because she's talking about like, this is especially important if you have kids, which is wild take. Let's see what she has to say.
Especially if you have kids. If you are not doing anything to assure her, to protect her, to make her feel better about the situation that is happening in our country,
yeah,
she will leave you.
Damn.
Listen up. If you are a husband and you are
so basically she's saying that if you are not plugged in enough on ice, that your wife is going to leave you. And so she's kind of like threatening husbands with that. I don't know. That seems like dodged a bullet to me. But I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know how like widespread this is. You know, I know that's like obviously it's getting passed around and like people are agreeing with it in the comments, but it's like hard to tell, you know, how much of that is just like lefty maniacs and how much of that has like made it to the normies. To me, from my perspective, this looks like ridiculous and unhinged. I don't know how like normies are viewing it. Do you guys have a sense of what normies are thinking? Have any of you checked in with the normies lately? Have you checked in with your normie friends? Your normies are probably not okay right now. I don't know how many of you have like jobs where you work alongside normies where they would talk about something like this. So this is another one of these. This is like the kind of delusion they're living in. Like they really believe that they are like Dumbledore's army resisting the forces of Voldemort. And you could just tell by the way that Nose Ring here talks about it. Go ahead, Nose Ring.
Y'all, they're fucking scared. They're fucking scared.
They're scared.
Do not let up, okay? And they're passing around internal documents right now with DHS that are telling ICE agents to ask if they know anyone who wants to volunteer, because they can't get enough people who want to go out in the field because they're too fucking scared. They were giving these people like,
yeah, I think what they're scared of is they could have to use force, and then the whole country is going to accuse them of murder. And then like, what's his name is like at a really tough, I don't know who the guy is. And I wouldn't repeat his name if I knew it, because I don't want that guy. That guy doesn't deserve to be famous. The guy who shot, what's her face? Renee Good. The one who shot, because that guy is like, I think what they're scared of is not like, they're not scared that Nose Ring here is going to beat them in a fist fight. It's just their hands are tied. There's only so much force they're allowed to use. They have to be gentle with these people who are doing this I'm not touching you bullshit. And literally, if anything happens to them, if they get a fucking hangnail, it can be a goddamn civil rights case against them. They're terrified. They're terrified of, and the court of public opinion is way more ruthless, even though the actual courts are not really intervening. And also, like, who wants to go in a city where everybody's like yelling and throwing shit at them? Like, that's not fun. Like, even if it's just like a few people like booing, yelling, and throwing shit at you, it's not fun. I can say from experience. So I can't even imagine going to a whole city where that's happening. Like, no wonder people don't want to go. And by the way, they're not doing anything crazy. They're taking people who are here illegally and moving them out of the country. And a lot of those people end up being criminals in other ways too. These are a lot of the people they're getting are violent criminals. That's the thing. That's what's so crazy about this is these people are literally unknowingly sticking up for violent criminals who are, and people on welfare who aren't contributing. That's crazy. People who are defrauding the system. That's who these people, remember, that's how this all started, was the Nick Shirley fraud video was really what kicked all this off. And there was prior tensions. There was tension before that. I mean, but that's what really kind of lit the match here, which I never would have expected that to have had the kind of results that it had. I mean, God bless Nick Shirley for doing what he was doing, but like, Jesus Christ, man, I didn't expect it to get like this. Ronald, I'm scared. I'm terrified. Please get that forehead off the screen. We'll get you. That could be her front-facing camera in her defense.
$30,000 signing bonus.
You know what? Maybe not. Actually, now I'm looking at it. Go ahead.
Bonuses. And now they're asking for volunteers. Yeah. Don't take your fucking boot off their fucking neck. These bitches.
Is that what you think is happening right now? Do you think you're winning? You're only winning because they're not using force against you. And they're only not using force against you as long as it takes for the optics to break their way. Like, once it's optically favorable, Trump is going to crush you. Like, it's not, like, is this really what you think is happening? You understand that the federal government has more arms and armament than you. You are very much in a might makes right situation, and you do not have as much might as your opponent. Like, this is very simple. You have declared the rules to be might makes right, and they have more might than you. Therefore, they are right. You see how that works? Of course not. Of course not. Nose ring.
These scared ass little bitches, they're fucking scared. They don't want to be out there in the streets with us.
Where are your children?
We're dangerous.
Where are your children? Where are your children? Anyway, let's see what this is. I forget what this is. Hold on. Shut up. There we go. Okay, let's do this one. Whoop. Let's see what we got here.
A little bit of backstory. I was born in Colorado, raised in Missouri. I usually just say St. Louis because it's easier than explaining like the suburbs, My husband he's Native American, and he did 4 years in the Air Force. We were stationed in South Carolina.
Right.
We love this country very much.
Okay.
All 3 of my kids are.
God damn it. I hate it. This is just like a pet peeve of mine. I hate it when women tell stories and it's just like a bunch of superfluous information that just doesn't matter. And they talk like they don't know that you don't share a consciousness with them because they don't have empathy for you. So they don't understand that you don't know all the same people. So all these people they're talking about, like you both know them and you don't know them. I don't know who Terry is, but you don't ask her who Terry is because she could explain it all day. You'll never know who Terry is. Don't even try to learn. Just be like, wow, she sounds like she was really intimidated by you. I think she's not used to women being as beautiful as you are and as smart as you are. And that makes her uncomfortable and intimidated. And so that's why she's being so petty. She's just taking out her own insecurities on you. You did nothing wrong. Just say shit like that and women will love you. For real. You don't even have to listen to what she said at all. Yeah. Only like top quintile IQ women will even notice. Even if it doesn't apply to what they said, they won't notice probably. They'll just be happy you said something validating. Just be like, I completely agree with you. If you can't remember that first thing, just be like, I completely agree with you. That's incredible. Wow. You're so brave. Go ahead.
The Cherokee Nation. We love this country. And I knew that my parents felt a certain way. I knew that my dad always voted a certain way and that he would hand my mother a piece of paper that would be like, here, go copy this on your ballot. So I guess I was most upset that I felt like my mom.
Based? Can we get W's in the chat for based dad? Okay, what happened to his daughter, obviously, but based? Go ahead.
Wasn't making her own opinions, wasn't thinking for herself, wasn't, both my parents grew up pretty poor, and I understand the whole, like, wish for stability. You want a good husband who makes a lot of money so you can have a nice house and you can raise your kids comfortably. I get that. But you can't just sit and live comfortably when the people around you are being snatched off the street.
There it is, white guilt. That's what it is. Okay, I was trying to figure out what the tie-in was because like none of this related to anything. that was relevant or was even interesting. And you see how many bonus characters we had that were involved in the story. We know about her husband's Cherokee heritage and how they love America. They were both in the Air Force, and her dad voted for her mom, and blah, blah, blah. And I grew up in this house, and this was the dynamic, and we both grew up poor. All of that to say, my white guilt makes it so I have to die in the street for foreigners. Just say that. Just say that. None of it. See, okay, this is like 25% of the video, and none of it was necessary information. The video could have started right here. Go ahead.
Actually do look like you are being killed in their cars and being called a domestic terrorist. I can't sit comfortably in my white privilege anymore, knowing that this stuff is happening.
Yeah.
And when my parents start misquoting presidents' racist lines to justify the actions of the president, to justify their own thinking.
Okay, so her parents like Trump, I guess. Okay, go ahead. Okay, how old do you think this woman is? 30-something, right? Who is in their 30s and still getting this mad about their parents' political opinions? Hey, chat, do you give a single solitary fuck what your parents think about politics? Or do you just say, hey, it is what it is? Like, why would you get this upset? Oh, Vagabond is here. What's up, buddy? Runaway Vagabond. Shout out Vagabond. Go check out I Swear It's Not Hentai podcast on his channel every Sunday night. Who gives a fuck what your parents think about politics? Like, who is in their 30s with children and a whole husband, and they're getting this upset that they need to post on the internet about their parents' politics? Like, who gives a fuck, dude? Don't you just say at some point with your parents, once you're an adult, don't you just say, well, they're the people they are and I love them and that's it. I love them for who they are and that's it. Like, you just accept that, like, who gives a fuck? Why would you care? I don't give a single fuck how my parents vote at all. I would be surprised if they started not voting Republican. That would be surprising to me. But I wouldn't care. I'm like, all right, man, whatever makes you happy. Like, I don't give a shit. Yeah, like, that's right. Yeah, right. Iron Oxide, none. Not a single solitary fuck given. I just move on when we disagree. Yeah, that's what... That used to be just like normal. What happened to that? What happened to just like, oh, well, and they're like, well, I can't disagree. We can't just disagree about human rights. It's like, watch me. You don't even understand how many human rights I would like to deny. You don't understand the level of rights I would like to take away. You don't even, I'm just getting started. Trump is a moderate. But like, yeah, no, like it's insane. Like, and what's crazy is it's like always like leftists who are pushing the family separation or pushing this is the second one of these where somebody made a big TikTok video where they were like addressing their parents more or less directly or indirectly. Or they like write a big letter or they're like, I can't talk to you because you don't support my identity and you don't support, even if it's not their identity, they'll like make themselves the main character. You don't support like drag queens, like being able to jiggle their hairy asses in front of children's faces at Chuck E. Cheese. Therefore, I can't speak to you anymore and you'll have no contact with your grandchildren. Because you don't like drag queens' hairy assholes and you don't want a 6-year-old to shove a $20 bill up a drag queen's hairy asshole at a library, at the New York Public Library. Therefore, you can't meet your grandchildren. Like, what the fuck? How does it even make sense, you dumb slut? And over, like, at least the drag queen is a citizen. I mean, a citizen who should be in jail probably, but a citizen nonetheless. This is all about fucking foreigners. That she's this like turned up. Like, who gives a fuck? Like, why does it matter what your parents think about politics at all? Shout out to my parents. My dad watches the show sometimes. I actually think my dad is awesome. I'm more like, I've definitely come around to seeing things his way on most issues. I would say I'm probably more like religious than he is now, and I'm probably more nationalist than he is now. Maybe. I don't know. We'd have to talk to him. I don't know where. Mostly we just agree on stuff. So my dad's like a classic like Limbaugh conservative, like talk radio conservative, like, you know, like it's a Fox News dad, but like a talk radio dad more so. No, which is good. You want a Fox News dad. That's good. That's a good dad. Go ahead.
I finally hit a wall. I hit a wall where I couldn't just look past everything they were saying. I couldn't just look past the comments that they had made to me.
I don't
It made me
understand
feel
this at
so bad
all.
that I now see them affecting my children. I see the comments that they made to me as a kid. I see them making it to my children. I get to a point where my oldest daughter, half the time,
By the way, if your parents make comments to your children that you don't like, you just take them aside and say, you know what, Grandpa's old. He just says wild shit sometimes. But he's a good dude and we love him. But he just says wild shit sometimes. And that's it. Like, nobody's perfect. Like, here's the thing. When you're old, you're going to say wild shit. It's just how it is. That's part of the fun of being old. And they know the way they do things. They don't know, like, whatever kind of, like, newfangled bullshit you came up with yesterday. Like, they don't know about. They don't know, like, the fucking social emotional learning or whatever. They're not up on that. They know whatever boomer shit they know. And they're doing their best. Like, what the fuck is this? Like, don't get me wrong. I cannot stand boomers as a class of people. But for the most part, like, we got to have some grace for our families, right? Like, stable families this I think is part of the point of why leftism is supposed to be so extreme, is so that you can drive people away from their families. I think that's actually part of the design of the cult, is to drive people away from their families. Go ahead.
like, we're going to go to grandma's. And she's like, do we have to? So, yeah, after my mom told me just to sell my house and move out of country, I was that upset. We skipped a holiday. We didn't go to Thanksgiving, and it caused a big, huge uproar. It created a bigger fight with my sister. And yeah, it sucks that it caused rifts in your family, but all I ever wanted was for them just to say, yeah, pedophiles are wrong. Yeah, it's, you know, he was credibly accused of all this stuff and it's fucking wild, but they're just like, if he gets convicted, we'll change our mind. And then my dad said I need to stop posting stuff on Facebook because I'm insulting the thoughts and beliefs of our friends and families. And I said,
right, that's probably reasonable. Like, I don't post about political shit on Facebook. Shout out to Strider. Shout out to he posts a lot of shit online. Shout out to Bat Sauce, posts a lot of shit online. A lot of people like to post that shit on, like, Facebook is a terrible website for political discourse. I don't even know. I just put all my political shit on my podcast, or I'll post on X. But it's like, mostly I don't even really post on X. I just talk about what I think on my podcast. That's really what I do, which is also broadcast on Facebook, by the way. But yeah, posting shit on Facebook is just like a normie to the point that it causes disruptions in your family. This is a uniquely leftist phenomenon. Now, okay, that's not 100% true. There are definitely conservative people, shout out Strider, who just like vent their frustrations onto Facebook, and that's okay. I totally get it. You're about to blow up. You got to get it out of your system. But for the most part, like, I mean, maybe you guys can speak to me. I don't have like leftist family members I really have to make peace with. But those of you that have leftist family members that you make peace with, do you guys have a problem like putting politics aside and just like not talking about, like, I don't understand. It seems like it's just the leftists who can't put up with this. And this is why I'm saying I don't think it's right to think about it as like a difference of ideas. I think these people are actually like, they've got some kind of like religious zealotry going on, or some kind of like religious psychosis around these issues, where it's become like a tribal identity, it's not just like different ideas about stuff to them. Like, I think that is how most like right-wing people think of it now, is just like, most of, at least you speak for yourselves, but like when I talk to right-wing people who have leftist family members they have to deal with, most of the time they're like, yeah, we love them, and I don't, I wish we talked more, I wish we got along better, we love them, they're very into politics, but I'd rather just not talk about it and have my family member. Oh, Jason's here. What's up, buddy? Jason, friend of the channel. What's up, buddy? Hey, bro, check out my latest episode of Touch Grass when you get a chance. I had an interview on there. I'd love to get your opinion on it. Leave a comment if you feel like it. Oh, only after Charlie Kirk. Yeah, I think a lot of this is like downstream of Charlie Kirk too. I think a lot of people consider that an act of war. And I think a lot of for conservatives, I think they finally had something where it was like the way people were acting after Charlie Kirk was so appalling. And just gut-wrenching, and like it just became clear that just cackling and like celebrating the violent death of a human being. And by the way, we with the death of Charlie Kirk, we consumed that in a way. Those of us that were on Twitter consumed that in a way that human beings were not meant to consume violence. Like, you're supposed to see something like that, like see a horrible thing happen, be like, well, that was horrible. I'm going to spend the rest of my life forgetting it and then move on. You're supposed to see it one time. It was horrible. You're like, well, that was awful. It's going to be hard to sleep for a while. I guess I'm going to go back to the fields. You know what I mean? That's not what happened with Charlie Kirk. We saw a graphic, violent death. I myself personally saw it hundreds of times in a single day. And that's that's crazy impactful. Like, that moved people in a very, very significant way. And not only did I see like a graphic, violent death, I saw a bunch of people like celebrating about it. You know, I think that makes it hard to keep it holstered for a lot of people. I think that was when the tension started to simmer. The ICE thing, I really don't understand like where people are coming from on this. I need somebody. We got to get a leftist on the show. Do you think I can get that feminist back on the show? Remember Jasmine, the feminist OnlyFans chick that I had on the show? They could have her back on. Do you think she would like keep it civil talking about ICE? Think she would? You guys think? I don't think she would. I don't know if she could. Well, and I'm also not like the guy to talk about it necessarily. Like, I'm trying to figure out like why this thing is so like why to me it's so obvious that like you need to have a border and you need to enforce it. Every single country in the world does it. And you can't, and there's people here who came from other countries and they're taking advantage, they're committed, they're defrauding our system. Because you got to think, okay, let's say you're a left-wing person and you support big entitlement programs. You do that so that you can help poor people, right? Well, if foreigners are coming here to steal from our programs, that's less money that goes to like widows and orphans here. That's less money that goes to poor people. That's less money for whatever they want, mental health, whatever, homeless crap or whatever they want. I don't know what leftists are into. But let's say I assume it's some kind of poor people shit, right? Some kind of like poverty programs, healthcare or whatever. They like healthcare for some reason, free needles for drug addicts, whatever dumb bullshit they want to do, right? There's less money for that if foreigners are stealing it and giving it to terrorists. Like, why is this controversial? I don't get it. There must be something going on in their media bubble, their echo chamber that's not in mine. Like, there has to be something they're seeing. Like, they must be getting programming or something from somewhere where they think that like this is like a cause to like get out in the streets and agitate for. And if they're not in the streets agitating, a lot of people wish they could be there and aren't. And a lot of people support it. And they're either stating their support publicly or, you know, keeping their support in their hearts, you know, privately. A lot of people are supporting it. So I'm trying to figure out how we're so far apart on this immigration issue. Like, what are they seeing that I'm not? Because I don't have an answer for that. Like, from my perspective, it seems pretty fucking obvious. Let's talk about this family thing more. Oh, we got some more comments. Hooray. That was worse. And some of us had to deal with families celebrating online. Right. And so that's probably pretty contentious. That's probably pretty contentious for the people who had to deal with that. And that's hard, but that's hard because it's like, that's your family. I think it's actually good to have family who's caught up in the psychosis because then it makes it, because we have to, at some level, we have to be willing to humanize these people at some point. Like, I don't know. And so like, maybe that makes it easier to be sympathetic. I'm trying to figure out what is causing this. Cause it's like, what's crazy is like, I assumed it was going to be like single women who were doing this, but the fact that it's like wives and mothers is like driving me nuts. Like, what the fuck is happening? Is this TikTok addiction? Is it like community activism gone crazy? Is it these special interest groups that are training people to do this? And it is men too. I'm not saying it's just women. Right. But if it was like a bunch of young men who were agitating, I would think, okay, well, that's, you know, just understanding human behavior. A lot of times young men just get out and knock shit over. That's just what they do sometimes. But the fact that it's like millennial women with children and they're bringing their children to the spot, I'm like, what the fuck? Do you actually think you're going to get shot? Because if you actually think you're going to get shot, why are your children there? What is actually going on? Because clearly there's something I don't understand. you know, and the people are like bragging, like the chick was bragging about losing an eye. I mean, she wasn't really bragging about losing an eye, but she was on the news for losing an eye. And I guarantee you that like was like super gangster. That was received super well in her like group of friends. I guarantee you. And what's his face who was bragging about losing a ball? That's fucking crazy, dude. With fucking nail polish and shit, and a nose ring. Like, god damn, dude. What the fuck is going on? Anyway, Jason left a comment. Let's look at this. We don't talk about politics explicitly too often. When we do, the thing I'm fighting the most is the intense emotions they have about topics. It's how their reasoning is hijacked. I see. Okay, so that I think is. Do you guys who have leftist family members, do you think that's the problem? Is they get super emotional about stuff, so they just don't want to listen to. They just don't want to listen to facts. Like, I know it's very upsetting to think about foreigners going back to their home country, but it is a fact that a bunch of them were committing fraud, and the ones who were committing fraud should probably go back, right? We agree on that. Like, they won't even hear it because they're like, how dare you? You're such an evil, bad racist. ICE is the Nazis or whatever.
What about my thoughts and beliefs? Because some of them comment on my posts, they're not very nice. Some of them also post things that are horrible. I'm trying to post things that I see as factual stories.
So if people are fighting with you,
actually doing.
If your family's fighting with you on Facebook, you should probably just like not post. It's probably just like not even worth the smoke, to be honest.
And then
just get a group chat.
Other people would post, memes about how unhinged liberals are, and
if the shoe fits,
and we're the ones who are snowflakes. But it's just so wild that it's like for anyone in MAGA, there is no war in Bossing Say. As long as you are white and you live in a red state and you just shut up and comply, there is no war in Bossing Say. But I think it's very clear that
it's crazy is like actually like MAGA is getting more diverse all the time. Like, I don't know where this idea that it's this white supremacist movement. You know what is very white is woke leftism right now. It's very white and very female. And the men who join it are unhinged and unemployed. So it's their side of things is very white. The right side of politics right now is fairly diverse, actually, from what I've seen. So I don't know where this idea that it's a white supremacist movement, I don't know why that's still hanging around. That's like obviously not true.
There is a war on any citizen who doesn't agree with this administration. I just watched a video of a woman who was detained along with her friend, and they put her friend in an interrogation room and offered him legal help for any undocumented family if he gave up information on other undocumented immigrants or on protest organizers. And just the fact that they're looking for protest organizers who are going to be American citizens is wild.
Right. But what you're calling a protest is actually like people interfering with law enforcement officers trying to do their job. And if you're doing that, that might be a crime. Right. So you've got people who are organizing people to get together and do crimes, which is not good. Right. That's not good. And also throwing stuff at ICE. That's not good. That's assault. Assault is bad. We agree assault is bad. We agree assault is bad.
Absolutely wild. And the fact that no one on the other side can see where we're headed is deeply troubling. And it's the fact that I'm like, Dad, do you realize the parallels of where we're at versus Nazi Germany? And he throws around what a shit President Biden was and how corrupt all the Democrats are. And, oh, do you remember which side owned slaves, right? Before the party switch. And then he tells me he feels sorry for me and my beliefs. But honestly, I just feel sorry that they don't understand empathy.
There it is. Okay. So this like empathy thing keeps coming up. And it's like, they have infinity empathy for foreigners and zero empathy for their own family. Right? Infinity empathy for foreigners who want to come here and defraud the country, and zero empathy for their own families. And yet they're completely incapable of understanding how the foreigners think about it. Right? Which is actually, that would be tactical empathy. That would be using empathy in your own self-interest, is to understand that foreigners think about coming here different. Foreigners from certain places think about this country differently, and they don't think about it the same way that you do. Like, we have this idea that liberal values are universal and that treating people with equality is a universal value, and it's just absolutely not. That's just not true. There's a lot of parts of the world that do not value that. Most of the rest of the world, they just want their ethnic group to win. And that's how the Somalis are approaching it. So if you bring a bunch of Somalis here, they're not going to suddenly become liberal because the dirt is magic, right? They're going to come here and try to do Somali shit to us. Okay. So, and that's, but it's, you just don't understand empathy. It's like, well, you don't have any empathy for their position. You don't understand where they're coming from at all. You can't mentally map their position at all. You can't correctly articulate their position in any meaningful way. So you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. Go ahead. Put it another way, how it feels matters more than how it is. Yeah, I think that's right. I think this is like a case of like feelings mattering more than facts for a lot of these people. We're going to see that. I got a couple more of these videos we're going to get through. Go ahead.
And it must be a sad, lonely existence to think that white people are the only people in the world. So that's my rant for the day. Oh, it's very cold outside, especially in Missouri. Like,
by the way, it's not a sad, lonely existence. It is awesome. Go ahead.
From Kansas City to St. Louis, it is very, very cold. And I will.
Okay, I don't want to hear any more of this. Let's do one more. This one is crazy and for a different reason, but this is just kind of like,
I don't know.
This is kind of like, this whole thing is a fantasy LARP for women who are TikToking. Also note the bird hands. Go ahead.
Tell you guys, every bone in my body wants to be in Minnesota right now.
Would you like one more bone in your body? Hey, yo, that was a free one. That was a free one. I do stand-up comedy. Come out and see me. All right. I'm coming to a city near you in February. Go ahead.
Helping the community. If I had it, I would be there because this is crazy. What we are.
By the way, liberal white women, the only thing they like more than activism is talking about all the activism they would do if it was more convenient. Liberal white women love talking about all the activism they wish they could do if not for all the things they would rather do. Like, God, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City's about to come out. Oh, man. I don't know if I can make it. Go ahead.
Being is crazy. And like Caress said earlier, we are watching history in the making. And another, like, I don't understand why we're all still participating in the hamster wheel of America at this point. We're just running around in circles. We're all still going to work. We talk about doing a walkout and people are like, I can't miss work. Well, you're going to miss out on your rights then. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you.
I wonder what rights she's worried about losing. Like specifically, like what rights? Why are there so many women who think that like ICE is going to take away their rights when it's just immigrations and customs enforcement? I'm missing the connection there. I don't know where this idea is that ICE is going to like arrest women and like, you know, turn them into like handmaids or whatever. By the way, when I voted for Trump, I was told I would be issued a handmaid. It is now 2026, no handmaid. So yeah.
Anyway,
We'll see how JD Vance does, I guess. Go ahead.
My heart is with the people in Minnesota. I wish I was there with you. If I had the funds to be there, I would leave yesterday and be there on the front lines with you. Because
notice she took time to like do her hair and her makeup and her eyebrows and everything and make sure that she was sitting under optimal lighting as she shot this video. This is purely like a vanity-based virtue signal. This is feeding her narcissism. That is the whole point of doing this video. This has nothing to do with, remember, it's I, me, I, me. You, me. There's not a mention of immigrants, not a mention of what specifically that ICE is doing that she finds so deplorable. She's not saying anything about the immigration issue. She just wants her share of the attention that's going around right now. Go ahead.
Because we all need to stand with Minnesota. What they are going through is unlike anything we've seen. We know in Charlotte it got bad. It is nothing compared to what they're going through in Minnesota.
All right. Retard. Okay. Let's see. This is something. So this was this is journalist Nate Friedman. This is something he was dealing with as he was walking around the protest. So let's go ahead and see what's going on with him. So this guy is a reporter who's on the ground in Minneapolis. I think he's another one of these independent YouTube guys, which shout out to these independent YouTube guys. These are young guys for the most part who are going out just with a camera and some security maybe and taking a risk. And they are, risking getting hurt because these people are unhinged And they're doing it so that we can have good information and so that people like me can talk about it on fucking live streams without actually having to go there. So God bless these guys. I hope they're doing well. And I hope they stay safe out there because this shit is wild. Go ahead.
The protest, my security informed me that Julie was following us out of the protest. Now, I've seen that tactic from them in the past, but never more than a block or so, and then they turn away. This was very different.
Multiple paid protesters following me home right now. Okay, so Julie has now followed us into the park. We must be a quarter mile out of the protest now.
So he says paid protester. I'm not sure how he knows that. He may have interviewed her earlier. I don't know how he knows that information, but he's calling her a paid protester. I wonder what that means. I wonder what paid by whom and how much and for what. I want to know a lot more information about that I don't have the answers to that.
Following us. Now, I was taking the train home from the other side of the park, and 10 minutes later, they were still following me. They seemed to have a very little meeting with one another and decided to give up after my security stared them down. But who knows what would have happened.
Hey, shout out to security. That's awesome.
But if we didn't notice this, and they shared my address. On my way out of the
yeah, so this is like, so stalking and doxing. This is just like a weird, I don't know what the fuck this is. This is like a weird anti-ICE clergy thing that I want to show you. But that's crazy. Like the fact that they're like stalking and following people who I don't know. I think this is going to get, we're going to get a lot more stuff coming out of these protests that does not look good to the average normie. Like storming that church was a fucking horrible move because that was like I said before, that was a normie ass church. For those of you that are coming into the show late, go check out the videos of that church that got swarmed that Don Lemon was at that he's catching so much flack for. I showed at the beginning of the show, but you can also find him on X. Yeah, it really like that church looked super normie to me. It wasn't like any kind of like crazy, like I said, not a snake handling church, not like a based cathedral, not anything, just like a normie church that normies would go to. And I'm telling you, like that image of a bunch of protesters going in and disrupting a church service like that and them trying to get them out and the cops not showing up, not doing anything. That is not going to play well with most of America. Most of America is not going to like that. It's hard for me to like see how like leftists are going to stand by that. We'll have to see what the narrative is. Cause like I said, while I've been doing the show, the narrative has been forming. So probably since I started talking about the story, something else has probably changed about it. So we'll find out by the time this live is over. That information will be out of date, but I'm very interested to see how leftists are going to try to justify that because there's just like no justification for breaking up a church service like that. And like pro ICE, the pastor's pro ICE. I got to know what that actually even means. Because he didn't seem like he was any kind of ideologue to me. So we'll have to see how that plays out. This is also, I don't know what the fuck this is, but this is some kind of like Minnesota clergy person. I don't know what church she's a part of. I'm guessing this is one of the bullshit denominations that allows female priests. So one of these bullshit Protestant denominations. I have no idea which one. But apparently what they were doing is a bunch of clergy from Minnesota were like harassing Target to get them to take a stand in favor of like immigrants or whatever. And they're going to get a meeting with the Target CEO, which I don't know how they pulled that. I guess shout out to them for like being so annoying. They got to speak to the manager. I mean, that's really what it was. They got a bunch of like nags together and they just nagged their way into a meeting with the ultimate manager. So go ahead.
Minnesota clergy are meeting with the Target CEO on Monday, and we're gonna keep fighting. It has been just an incredible day. We got started out here, 120 clergy in front of the Target store downtown. We said,
I wonder how many of those clergy were women. I don't 100% know, but I would love to know. Go ahead.
Target, we need you to raise your voice with us. We need you to partner with us to demand that ICE needs to get out of Minnesota now, that the agent who shot Renee Good needs to be arrested and prosecuted, that they need to raise their voice and say to all of Congress that we need to stop funding ICE.
All right, so there's a part of the Bible where Jesus says, render unto Caesar that which is Caesar's, and I feel like a lot of this stuff falls into the render unto Caesar category. That's my opinion. You know, it's ultimately up to the government to make the laws of the land. And I don't know if it's appropriate for clergy to be lobbying politically like this. I don't know. I don't know if like border security is an issue that clergy should necessarily be weighing in on. I don't know if that's appropriate, but again, it's not my church. So I don't know what church she's from, but not my church. Go ahead. So I don't know what, maybe it's okay with their church to do this, but to me, I don't know. This doesn't seem like an appropriate, thing to do. Go ahead.
All together, we want them to be a Fourth Amendment business, meaning they are not going to allow ICE to stage on their property unless they.
Oh, interesting. Fourth Amendment business. I wonder who told them to say that, because that is not their idea. That was an idea that was given to them by somebody. So who gave them that idea? Do you think that came from chat? Do you think that came from TikTok? Or do you think that came from like one of these like Stop ICE non-governmental organizations or groups or whatever? One of these like nonprofit groups or something that told them to say that? Like who told them to say that? Because that idea is not original to them. A Fourth Amendment business, and meaning a business that doesn't cooperate with ICE, which is a tremendously stupid idea on their behalf. For sure. Like that's a stupid idea for Target, because, Donald Trump is going to take that personally and he's going to go after him. Like the Justice Department's filing a bunch of lawsuits, like that might get cumbersome.
Have a judicial warrant. So those were our demands, very clear. We brought them to the corporate headquarters after the press conference. At first, the staff told us that there was no way we could have a meeting. So we're
so I'm assuming the corporate headquarters for Target is in downtown Minneapolis for some reason. Okay.
looking forward to our meeting on Monday, and we're going to be ready to meet with the CEO about these demands. Thank you so much to everybody who is tuning in across the country and standing with us and praying with us and singing with us as we were up in that Target. Everybody has a role to play in this moment of crisis in our nation. So keep on doing the good work of loving your neighbors, and we're going to keep fighting together. ICE out of Minnesota.
Look, see what I say. Look, how many of those are women? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, dude. The fuck did I say? There are some men, but they seem to be relatively low testosterone. I fucking told you, bro.
Be moved just like a tree that's planted by the water. We shall not be moved. We are shopping elsewhere. We are shopping elsewhere. We shall not be moved. We are shopping elsewhere. We shall not.
We are shopping elsewhere.
Like a tree that's planted by the
Oh, that's stupendous. That's stupendous.
We shall not be moved.
Oh, that's stupendous.
Hi, Brian. My name is Pastor
All right,
Martha Bardwell, and I'm here.
Pastor. This is a fucking disgrace, by the way. By the way, she's wearing a rainbow.
That's the right Brian for now.
You're out of town here. I'm putting you on speakerphone so we can all hear you. Go ahead.
I am out of.
There we go. I'm back here. We did it. We did it, gang. Oh, shit. Am I back? Can you guys see me? Okay. Let's see. Hold on. And we're going to do one more thing. Oh, yeah. I'm still live. There we go. Sorry, guys. We're dealing with a little bit of technical difficulties over here. There we go. Let's get that back up. And then, boop. No, hold on. There we go. Can you guys see it? Shit. I'm dealing with hella lag. Right now. Damn. It's okay. All right, guys. We're going to go ahead and end the stream. Sorry, guys. I can't see you. You can't see me. So, shit. Yeah, it looks like the lag got me. That's all right. Hey, guys, we're going to go ahead and end the stream. Take it easy. Species is dying. The birth rate is plummeting. Women are chopped. But yeah, you know what? Get a fucking cat.
I know even more about grants.